You know when you make a cup of coffee that's just like, it's the perfect drinking temperature? Yes, it's up to you to be responsible in asking your questions. Oh, the pink, it's so good. And it's not toxic positivity, it's so far from toxic positivity. I can't choose between tea and coffee. I can't pick a favorite, I refuse. Hello everybody, it's Sylvie. Welcome or welcome back to Tarot Magpie. I hope you're doing all kinds of good. I'm doing another tag today. I've already forgotten what it's called. It's drinks and decks. It's matching the vibes of cocktails with decks in my collection. I am drinking a cup of coffee because it's about 8:30 in the morning on a Monday. So that's as exciting as it's getting. But yeah, this tag was created by Imogen over at Sapling Tarot. I will, of course, link them, their channel, their original video below in the description. And yeah, we've got 13, 14 prompts. I've got a whole mess of decks on my desk, and I am going to get straight into it. You know when you make a cup of coffee that's just like, it's the perfect drinking temperature? Yes. Prompt number 1 is Old Fashioned, your favorite classic tarot deck or riff on a classic. I don't love an old fashioned, I'm going to be honest. I've had a twist on an old fashioned that's good, which is appropriate because what I'm going to pull out is a riff on a classic. I've got two. I've got a Rider-Waite-Smith and a Marseille. You might recognize this scarf because I pull this deck out frequently. This is the Trip and Wait Tarot by Tarot Collectibles. I have edged it. I edged it in this pink that I thought was really ugly, and then I went over it with this glittery pink, and now I am much happier with how this deck looks. I bloody love this deck. I feel like I talk about it all the time. This was the one that started my love affair with Tarot Collectibles. There's actually another Tarot Collectibles as a response to a prompt, an answer to a prompt later on. It's just a really fun Rider-Waite-Smith clone. It's very groovy. They also have a groovy weight, which is a different deck. But like I love the colors in this Knight of Wands' clothing. Like it's so much fun. I don't love the Guru as the Hierophant, but like I love it. This was the deck that made me kind of fall in love with the Rider-Waite-Smith. This Knight of Swords, the color palette is so pretty. I love the colors, I love the vibes, I love that it is a clone, so I can totally do Rider-Waite-Smith study symbolism, etc. for most of the cards. Obviously some of them are a little bit more different, but yeah, the Trip and Wait Tarot. Okay, and then my other riff on a classic is the Squid Cake Marseille, because this was the one that started my love affair with the Marseille, so I suppose that's appropriate to have the Trip and Wait and then the Squid Cake. But it's so freaking cute. The color palette, the strawberries, the little axolotl on the wheel. I think it's so sweet. I love these backs too, which is the same here on the guidebook. Got the candy corn, we've got the strawberries. The knights are like riding snails and stuff. I think this moon is so funny instead of the dog and the wolf. The little ghosts in the Two of Cups. Have I gone past the Justice? Is it the Justice or is it the Temperance that's got just a cup of tea, a cup of coffee? Yes. Okay, the Temperance has 2 coffee cups. Yes, so our Justice here has her scales, and I like to imagine that this is a cup of tea and a cup of coffee, which I heavily relate to because I'm a Libra, so Justice is my Libra card, and I can't choose between tea and coffee. I can't pick a favorite. I refuse. So that is the Squid Cake Marseille. It is an absolute favorite in my collection. It's so cute. I love the size. I love the pink edges. This is the mass market edition. It's also dirt cheap, which is the only reason I got it, to be honest. It was cheap and it was cute, and I was having a mental health time. And then I just fell in love. The guidebook in this is also really good. Prompt number 2, Gin and Tonic, a no frills, straightforward, to the point deck. It's the Morgan Greer. Is this a surprise? Probably not if you've watched any number of my videos. This deck is aggressively to the point. Should we zoom in a smidge? It's loud. It is no beating around the bush. It's just going to tell you the answer to the question you have asked, and It's up to you to be responsible in asking your questions. No frills, to the point. I've said it before, but the way that the portraits are kind of close up, they're mostly just like, okay, well, there's High Priestess, but like it's mostly just like upper body. For a lot of the cards, I think adds to the straight to the point energy of the deck. So yeah, the Morgan Greer. What more is there to say? There's no point embellishing my description of this deck, especially with the question that it's answering. So the Morgan Greer. Prompt number 3 is Spritz, a deck to brighten your day. I bloody love an Hour Pearl Spritz. That is my preferred kind of Spritz. This is another Tarot Collectibles deck, and this is the Spring Weight. It's glittery, and the colors are absolutely gorgeous. It's full of flowers, it's full of butterflies, it's got rainbows all over it. Like, how is this supposed to not cheer me up? How does anyone not feel cheered up by this deck? So yeah, I don't use this one a whole ton. I've only had it about a year, to be fair. And I did pull it out a lot in spring, actually. It was kind of living in my bag. It was my on-the-go deck. Like, the aggressive blush on this Knight of Cups is incredible. The rainbows. And the, I think the Four of Cups has a really beautiful sky, which I now need, but like, here we go, the colors in the sky here, that the depth and saturation of the colors in this deck is just so gorgeous. And I love all the little details. I love all the rainbow flourishes. We've got butterfly wings everywhere. Sandcastle for the Ten of Swords, I think is so much fun. And it's just gorgeous. It also, this card especially is one, it really looks like a British springtime, which makes sense because this company is based in Ireland. So it's similar altitude and agriculture to where I grew up. And it, it looks like spring. And then the B for the devil. That is my Spritz. How can you not be just a little bit cheered up with a Spritz in hand? And I'm like, yeah. I went to Venice with my friend a couple of years ago for like a long weekend. And we spent most of the weekend just kind of wandering around canals with an Aperol Spritz in hand, and could not recommend more highly. Prompt number 4 is Dirty Martini, a strong and salty deck. And I would shout out the Outgrow Yourself Tarot Oracle, but Imogen already picked that. So I went with a different Oracle deck. Also, I talk about the Outgrow Yourself all the time. The Urban Crow Oracle. I feel like this is one of those Oracle decks that's, there we go, battle right on the bottom of the deck. This is one of those decks that's a little bit edgy, a little bit not pulling its punches. It's got some slightly spikier keywords. And then it's also got this like grungy, urban, grimy background and vibe to it. So yeah, it's not pulling its punches. It's not love and light. It's not affirmation. It's not toxic positivity. It's so far from toxic positivity. There's a lot of positive messages in the guidebook, and there's a lot of ways to work with these keywords for a more positive end goal. But it's not just holding your hand and telling you everything's going to be fine. So I really like this. I love the keywords, like here, self-interest. Like, that's good. It's strong and salty. It's not a deck for the faint of heart or for the squishy moments where I do kind of just want a hug and some pretty pictures, but it's a damn good deck. So that is the Urban Crow Oracle. Prompt number 5, Pina Colada, a deck for a summer holiday. I have mixed feelings about a Pina Colada because I drank too much Malibu when I was a teenager and it kind of put me off. But I've got 2. So first up is this teeny tiny Gilded Tarot. Because this is just such a summer deck to me, I have to zoom in so much. It's comically small and I think it's hilarious. But it's the portability is what really makes it summer for me. It's bright, it's colorful, it's kind of cheesy, it's kind of fun. It's kind of, I don't know, it just has like summer holiday appropriate vibes. Like, it can do, it's a tarot deck. It's a Rider-Waite-Smith clone for all intents and purposes. It can do serious. It's got all the darker cards in there, but there's something about it that makes it feel just a little bit, not lighter exactly, but just a little bit more optimistic, I think. It's got that kind of summer holiday, so much free time, and the intention is to have experiences and enjoy yourself, and like all of regular life still needs doing in the summer holidays, but it's a bit of a reprieve. That's kind of what this deck feels like. And a lot of that, like I've said, is down to the tiny size and the portability. It's just so much fun to have this in my bag. It's just been truly living in my bag because it's so small. And then if I am out for a coffee or just out and about and I feel like pulling some cards, or I'm with somebody and we decide to do a reading, it's just fun. It's a fun deck and I'm so glad that I bought it. And then last minute, I decided to also pull this out. This is the Mystical Forest Tarot, which I bought completely on impulse after being out on a summer's day, having a couple of drinks. Wouldn't necessarily recommend that as a shopping strategy. But it's so summery. It's the color palette. It's totally the color palette. Death on top is a choice. It's the color palette. It also looks like summer nights, like 100%. The queer tarot also totally falls under this category, but again, I think that is the one Imogen used when answering this prompt. So that is also showing up later on in a different question. But like it's so summery. It's so pretty. I love all the clouds in the sword suit. Have I touched this? No, not really. Maybe I'll leave it out on my desk and do some pulls with it this week. That's probably a good shout. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Again, those beautiful clouds. The hummingbird, like, oh, I need to read the guidebook. But yeah. Mystical Forest Tarot. Basically, I want to go on holiday to this deck and I want to take this deck with me in my like bag carry-on thing. Okay, prompt number 6 is Hot Toddy, a deck for a cold winter's night. And I have the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg because look, what is it with these aggressive cards on the top of the deck? We had Death on the Mystical Forest. And here we have the Devil, which is Stalin, which I find just wonderful. It's cozy. Come on. It's so cozy. Need I say more than that? This is so beautiful. All of the imagery on this deck is so beautiful. And yes, it's got these big, huge borders, but it's just so decorated. It's so detailed. I think this was painted to, like it was painted this large. I think it was painted to size. And I cannot even imagine the amount of skill and time and patience that takes. But I think it's incredible. And the reason this is a cold winter's night, it's dark backgrounds. This death is so cool. You've got the black background, you've got the gold. It just looks cozy. It just looks cozy. I love the sun. Like, what is that face? So yeah, Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg, which I will absolutely be pulling out in the winter. Espresso Martini, an energy boosting deck. This is where the queer tarot comes in because come on. Like, I did these neon pink edges. I love them more than words can say. Look at these colors. Look at these colors and tell me this isn't fizzy and energy boosting and oh, I did the rainbow, what was it, the rainbow tag years ago. I've only had the channel just over a year. Way back when, at the beginning of my channel, when I had like 1 subscriber, I did the rainbow tag, and I think this was my orange deck because orange feels like vitality to me, and that's just what this deck is. I could be completely misremembering that, and I also hesitate to send you to my videos that are that old because I have no idea what the quality is like. But maybe I'll do an updated version of that tag. That might be fun, actually. Let me know if you want to see that. But yeah, it's vitality. It's the heat of summer. Again, this could be a summer holiday deck, but it's just so, it's full of life. And I think there is also something to the fact that this is a queer deck celebrating queer people. Every person in this deck is drawn after a real life queer person. So it is kind of like a bit of a celebration in that sense. And so it feels fizzy and vibrant and vital, and I adore it. This full card makes me think of that Pulp Girls tarot, which I have stopped myself from buying, but I think it's so cute. Oh, the pink, it's so good. All right, Manhattan, a deck to take your time with, to sip and savor. To sip and savor, Lubanko is my usual kind of answer for this, which I feel like is a bit of an obvious one for me at this point, because I always pull the Lubanko out when I'm like, oh, a deck that I need to sit with and take my time with. It's always this. This does not give me, this is the opposite of the Morgan Gray. It does not give me answers straight away. It does not give me clear cut, direct answers. I always have to sit with it. I always have to kind of figure out where it's coming from. There's just something about it because it's not even that. It doesn't deviate that much from the Rider-Waite-Smith. There's just something about it that's a little bit mysterious. It's not spilling all its secrets. So that's the Lubanko. And then I also grabbed the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud, because this is one that I pull a card, I leave it out for a week. I have never pulled this for like a quick, I don't even pull this to answer questions. I just pull this to be like, tell me something, give me something, and like sit with it out for days and read the book and see what I think. So yeah, this also definitely one to sip and savor and work with a little bit more slowly. Prompt number 9 is Mojito, a palette cleansing deck for when you need a reset. I bloody love a mojito. Everything's a mess. Here we go. Yeah, I love a mojito. It's definitely a palate cleanser. It's easy. I love a rum-based drink. I love a take on a mojito, like a strawberry or a watermelon or whatever. But the Way Home Tarot is my palette cleansing deck. It's so spacious. It's so clean isn't the word I'm looking for, but it's very much not weighed down. It's quite minimalist. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. I'm thinking clean, not as in clean and hygienic, but as in it hasn't accumulated loads of stuff. It's quite stripped back. It's refined, maybe not refined, maybe basic, honestly, is kind of the word I'm looking for. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles. It's quite a straightforward representation, but it is an abstraction. Like it's not the Rider-Waite-Smith. This is an abstraction of the Nine of Swords, but like mind pollution is the Nine of Swords. Yeah, it's good. It's good. And it definitely works as a palette cleanser. I use this for readings for other people quite a lot because it's kind of the essence of the card without a lot of extra detail. And I think there is definitely something to be said for decks that don't have people in, because it's just the message, it's just the symbolism, it's just the metaphor without trying to insert yourself into the card the way that I think is very easy to do if the card is full of people. You instinctively want to be one of those people. You see yourself as one of those people, whereas you can't really do that with this deck. Even in the core cards, because it's just one figure and then this representation, you're not in a scene. So yeah, the Way Home Tarot is such a good palette cleanser, and it's one of my favorite decks, honestly. Prompt number 10 is Bloody Mary, a problem-solving deck. I do like a Bloody Mary, I'm going to be honest. The Reclaim Oracle. I was kind of struggling with this because I was like, well, all decks kind of are problem-solving decks, because, I mean, that's not strictly true. Not a lot of Oracle decks, but I digress. The Reclaim is a problem-solving deck because I use it primarily for the purpose of working through my feelings. It's a feelings deck. Unworthiness, confidence, closure. I've spoken in a few different videos the different ways that I use this deck, but I do primarily use it to work through my feelings. If I'm not sure how I'm feeling about something, it's kind of like an out loud journaling exercise in the way that I use it. I will sift through and I will either pull the cards that resonate with me and then sit with those and kind of figure out where that's coming from and why these particular feelings, or I will pull cards at random and just see how they feel when I wear them. So yeah, I do specifically use this deck to work through shit. I've never used this randomly. And you could, there's no reason you couldn't pull a card and be like, okay, what do I need to be aware of today? Validation. And how does that feel? And where are you maybe needing validation or needing to validate others? But that's just not how I use this deck. It helps me to solve my emotional, I don't say problems, but it helps me to like work through things and feel more like I understand what's going on, because feelings can be tricky, you know? It's a really good deck if you're very language, I don't say language oriented because that sounds so pretentious. I place a lot of value on finding the right specific words because that's just how my brain works. And so this is really helpful in that, because I'm feeling a way and it's kind of sad, but it's not sad. And then I'll flip through and I'll be like, oh, it's, this other thing that's like sad, but isn't quite sad. Anyway, Reclaim Oracle, a problem-solving deck. Prompt number 11, French 75, a special occasions deck. I don't think I've ever had a French 75. What's in a French 75? Gin, champagne, lemon juice, and sugar. Okay, well, I don't love champagne or gin, so I would drink it if you gave it to me. I don't think it would be what I would choose. Anyway, a special occasions deck. And here we go. Aphrodite is kind of my special occasions deck. It's not so much special occasions, it's just this is the only deck in my collection that's got a very specific purpose. I have a little Aphrodite altar space. This lives on there. That's where I pull cards. So not so much special occasion, it's just like very specific purpose, but it counts in my brain, you know? I feel like I talk about this deck all the time, so I'll keep it brief. I pulled this out in my recent-ish video, the collections meets decks video. I pulled this out. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. It sits on my Aphrodite altar. I have pulled the Aphrodite card a spooky number of times at that altar, so that's where it's staying. It's at my Aphrodite altar. I use it to have a chat with her and see what she has to say, because, you know, point taken, hint taken, you know? So there we go. The penultimate prompt is Aviation, a wild card deck for when you're feeling adventurous. And I really struggle with this, but I went with this, the Spread Machine Oracle. This is the Quest expansion. What better adventurous deck than one that you choose to make your own spread with? It's very much like a choose your own adventure kind of a deck. It's one of the Spread Machine Oracles from Kimberly San, who made the Panda Tarot, The Way of the Panda. It's Fable's Den is her brand. And this is the like D&D roleplay game inspired expansion pack. We've got like health potion, stealth mode, ultimate move, mana potion, which I love. I feel like if you've been here for 5 minutes, you know that I'm a big old fantasy D&D nerd. So this is just fun for me. But you can totally, choose your own adventure kind of a thing. It's in different categories, like suits almost. We've got like character, equipment, embark, power up, status. So you could pull one of each. You could pull them at random. You could just see what feels relevant. But if I want to do a reading, but I maybe don't know what about, then I pull this out. Or if I kind of know what about, but I don't know how to go about reading for it, then I'll pull this out. If I've got like a general theme, like, oh, I want to do a reading about, oh God, I don't know, my career, say. If I want to do a reading about this aspect of my life, pull some cards, see what they feel like, see what comes out. Again, like it's tarot, it's meaningful, but also it's not God. It's meaningful, but you don't have to live your life according to the cards. And if they don't make sense, they don't make sense, and that's fine. So this is one where I'm like not too attached to what I get out of the reading. If I've got something hyper specific I want to read about, then I will just pull cards for that topic. Whereas if I'm like, oh, I just want to see where it takes me, this is where this deck is good. Did that make any sense? Unsure. Let's move on. Okay, finally, the final prompt number 13 is The Usual, your drink of choice and your most used deck. My drink of choice is a margarita. If there's a spicy margarita on the menu, I am ordering that. If I don't know what to order, or I'm somewhere that I've not been before, like I'll order a margarita. It's very hard to fuck up. Give me a tequila-based drink and I'm happy, you know? And my usual deck is the Fifth Spirit Tarot. I don't know if this is my most used deck, as in if I were to count out the amount of times I've used each deck in my collection, I don't know that this one would come out on top. It's definitely very close, but it is my usual in the sense that if I don't know what to read with, I'll pull this deck. Like if I don't know what to order, I'll order a margarita and I'm good. If I don't know what to read with, I'll pull this deck out. It's good for any kind of question. It's good for readings for myself. It's good for readings for clients. It's just a good deck. It's very much proved itself. You can't go wrong with it, in my opinion. There's two cards that I don't love. This Devil is one, the Six of Coins is the other. And, you know, I suppose sometimes you drink a bad margarita, but really 9.5 times out of 10, it's solid. It works. I know what I'm doing. I know how to read this deck. And I think that's probably about all there is to say. It's my most used deck because it's bloody good. It's reliable. I know I like reading with it. I know I like the kind of readings it gives me. I love the imagery. I love the guidebook. I love Charlie Claire Burgess's other book, Radical Tarot. So I like the energy of this deck and the ethos kind of behind this deck. Like, it's good. If I don't know what to reach for, I can't go wrong with this. So that is the final prompt. Okay, that is everything. That is the tag. I will let you go. I've talked long enough. Let me know your favorite drink. Let me know your favorite deck to go with it. Let me know if you've done this tag. I will, like I said, I will link Imogen and their channel in the description. Go watch them, go watch their original video, go subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you, Imogen, for creating the tag. I had a lot of fun. And that is it from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, I really hope you've enjoyed. Give me a like if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, all of that good YouTube stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.